You want a hard-working team? There it is right there.
This broadcast was a presentation of the National Hockey League and the Altitude Radio Network. Colorado Avalanche Stanley Cup Playoff Hockey. This is a special edition of Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. We're reacting with you to Avs Jets Game 5, live from Stoney's Bar and Grill on Lincoln. Now here's Alex Reinemi and Mark Springer.
10.8 seconds to go in the third period. Middlestat wins it. Josh Manson. He'll send it down ice in an empty net. You betcha! The Manimal puts the icing on the cake with 1.9 seconds to go in the hockey game. The Avalanche have put a touchdown on the Jets here in Winnipeg. And the whiteout is wiped out. 6-3. And Josh Manson adds to his playoff total in this series. He had an assist earlier. He gets his second goal. And the Avalanche have scored 3 here in the third. Puck is down, and the Avalanche win in Winnipeg. They win 4 straight games to defeat the Jets in 5. And for the 5th time in 6 tries, the Avalanche will move on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs as they ground the Winnipeg Jets, this time by a final score of 6-3. And we're about to have hockey handshakes.
You heard the call right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, chock full of Top Gun references as it has been for the past 5 games. The Colorado Avalanche win their first round series 4-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. Who cares about home ice advantage in this game? Who cares about letting up 7 goals in game 1? The Avs absolutely buzz their way through the final 4 games of this series and become the 4th team in Stanley Cup playoff history to score 5 or more goals in each of their first 5 games to begin a postseason. The others, the 1985 Blackhawks, who lost in the Western Conference Final to the Oilers, the 1994 Rangers, who did it in 6 games en route to winning the Stanley Cup championship, and the 1981 Islanders, who did it in the same amount, 5 games en route to winning a Stanley Cup. Val Nichushkin, Arturi Lehkonen both score in this game. A 5-game goal streak. They're the first teammates to ever do it in the franchise's history. They tied Michel Goulet to be the only players to do that in franchise history individually. As we welcome you to Between the Pipes here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. We are brought to you by Safeway, live at Stoney's, thanks to our friends at Milagro Tequila. I'm Alex Reinemi alongside my partner, my co-host. He's the radio machine. He's Mark Springer. The series is over.
Michel Goulet, Arturi Lehkonen, Valeri Nichushkin joining some prestigious company. Man, what a series they had, and as they should. I mean, those are some very underrated hockey players, certainly from a national perspective. But the MVP, you need me down, Nelson? You need me down?
Oh yeah, you're coming in hot, and I can't say I blame you.
Coming in hot? Okay, how's that?
Keep going, man.
How's
After that
Steve?
Avs win, you're cracking and snapping, and I can't say I blame you.
All right, snap, crackle, and pop.
Exactly.
There we go.
The Radio Machine Rice Krispies. All right, you're sounding a little clearer there.
There we go.
Appreciate you, man. The MVP of this game was Neil Pionk. What a great goal he scored. What a great goal Neil Pionk scored tonight. Oh, wait, Arturi Lehkonen got credit for that. But, yeah, that was it. It wasn't the game-winning goal. Tyler Toffoli scored it up, tied it up. And then Mikko Rantanen decided to get on a plane and go to Winnipeg, and he showed up. I know he had 6 assists coming into this series, but Mikko has not had the best series. And then he ends up scoring his first 2 goals of the series in the third period, and that sealed this game. So Mikko Rantanen finally showing up here. Look,
He's got 9 points in 5
Come
games.
on, man. You know, we talked about it. Don't give me that Birdo stuff from the pregame show where people are defending Mikko Rantanen. You know, Raj. You know what you saw earlier in this series. I see the smile on you. Know. Everyone knows. I mean, there was a play early in this game where Cale Makar tried to go high to low to Mikko Rantanen, and he fumbled it, and he broke his stick in frustration. Maybe that finally got him going. But the Moose getting loose ultimately was the difference, and the Neil Pionk own goal, of course.
The 420 has joined us tonight, as you guys all can. 303-504-0925 on the Shop Mazda text line says, between the pipes rules. Wish it wasn't at 11 p.m. on weeknights. Damn those Eastern Conference games pushing our times out. You can also join Phil and Jeff in there, all the friends who are down here at Stoney's, and winning a bunch of signed Avalanche gear the entire evening. 4-1 in games is your final. Connor Hellebuck, in 5 games played in these playoffs, comes away with a singular win, a 7-6 win in Game 1 of this postseason. He loses the next 4. A .523 goals against average, an .870 save percentage in those 5 games. It is far and away the worst save percentage and goals against average for what is expected to be this year's Vezina Trophy winner in his first round series, certainly in the last decade. I'm doing my work to go back in further and further and further, but you mentioned it. It was the own goal, right? The Avs scored an own goal 75 seconds into this game, right? It felt like the bad luck was back up there in Winnipeg, but it evened out. Neil Pionk throws one in his own net. That felt like the goal that changed the tide for the Avs tonight. But it really ended up being the tale of the third periods. The entire series long is that the Avs just turned it up when it mattered most. Rantanen tips one home 4 minutes into that third period to go up 4-3. 4 minutes later, he and Nathan MacKinnon go on a 2-on-1 on a quick up from Cale Makar, who gets his 7th assist of the season. That goes backdoor to Rantanen for his 9th point in 5 games. Makar, MacKinnon, Rantanen, 9 points each in 5 games. And the Jets are out of here. And now you get to sit back, relax, and watch the Dallas Stars and Vegas Golden Knights beat the living crap out of each other for hopefully the next 3 games.
Yeah, this couldn't work out any better. Could it have? Both the Nuggets and the Avs win in 5. Both teams are going to have several days off here. For Colorado, Zach Parise got a little banged up in this game. I'm sure guys up and down are feeling this series. You know, this is the playoffs, man. You're going to take some bumps, you're going to take some bruises, and now Colorado has Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably Saturday off. It's 4 days off. They're going to have at least 4 days off to heal up a little bit. This was a formality here tonight. This series was already over. It would have been an absolute shame if they had to come back to Denver on Thursday night. I guess maybe for the sake of finally winning one in front of the home fans. It's been forever since that has happened. But beyond that, I mean, the Jets needed their hearts ripped out in front of their own faces tonight. Who was it? Who was our Jets analyst that you were telling me about that said that
Martin Biron.
What did he say, Raj?
He said this was the easiest first-round matchup that Winnipeg could possibly have this year.
Easier than the Kings?
Easiest first-round matchup that the Jets could possibly have this year.
Easier than the Nashville Predators?
Easiest first-round matchup that the Jets could possibly have this year.
You should be fired. Is this man employed? Does he get paid money to talk about hockey?
He's employed by Sportsnet.
The Colorado Avalanche. We're talking about the same team.
Yeah, the team that won a cup.
Total of 17-4. But that was the regular season. Okay, this is the playoffs where, you know, the playoff tested show up. And they showed up in this series. Okay, I'm glad you got what you wanted, Winnipeg Jets. You got the easiest matchup you could have gotten. Apparently it wasn't so easy. I'm just glad this is over, man. This is over. I'm sick of the Winnipeg Jets. I'm sick of them, bro. I'm sick of them.
Listen, again, the Hellebuck situation is – that is the enigma in this series. Not that the Avs turned it on and that they found a way to defend and that they continued to score at a torrid pace this year. Again, only 5 other teams in the history of the Stanley Cup playoffs have scored 5 or more goals in their first 5 games in a postseason. That's it. That's it, just 5. The league's been around for well north of 100 years, and they're the 5th team to do it. Hellebuck, the last time that he won a Vezina was 2019-2020. In that postseason, he played 4 games. Remember, that was the bubble when a billion teams made it, and you had to win 3 of a possible 5 games to move on in what was that first round, right? Hellebuck showed up after winning the Vezina that year. In 4 games, 1 win, 3 losses, .904 save percentage, and a .304 goals against average. That year, in 2019-2020, during the regular season, he posted a .257 goals against average and a .922 save percentage. This year, he shows up and does not record a save percentage north of an .872 in 5 games. That's the difference. That is the only difference in this series, is that Connor Hellebuck couldn't stop the puck. And listen, I don't even think he was that bad. I really don't. I just think that you saw an Avs team that went, well, it actually matters now. Screw you.
That's exactly what it was. I'm with you. I don't think Hellebuck himself was that bad. Like when I watched him in net this series, to me, he was actually somewhat above average. It was everything in front of him that really let him down. That being said, I do think we can't ignore that Connor Hellebuck is a very good goalie, but he is not an elite goalie.
He's elite. I just don't know if he has the postseason.
I don't think he is, Raj.
Huevos.
I don't think he is. I mean, I called this. I've been calling this for weeks.
You have. I can't tell you you're wrong. You called it the entire regular season. You went, I'm not scared about the Jets because I'm not scared about Hellebuck. And I looked at you like you'd never watched hockey before in your life.
But I clearly have, and I've watched playoff hockey, and I know when I've watched the Jets.
You're
in the
guy
playoffs,
who saw Clayton Kershaw and went, he can't do it in the NLCS.
Watching the Jets in the playoffs these past few years, and it's not just, any playoff series I watch, and whenever I see a goaltender rise to that level, that elite level where you're like, oh no, this guy is on a different level. I haven't seen that with Connor Hellebuck in the playoffs. And I know I'm gonna admit I'm not watching a ton of Jets regular season hockey, and I know that Hellebuck just had a very good regular season. But when I've watched him in the playoffs for the past several years, at no point did I think, dude, Hellebuck's bailing him out, or dude, Hellebuck is the reason that the Jets are still in this thing. Not once, and that proved true and through in this series as well. Alexander Georgiev. Once again tonight, I didn't think he had to do as much in Game 4. He had to make some nice saves in Game 3 at home. He had the splits wraparound save on Appleton. He had the mini breakaway save on, who was it, Niederreiter, I think. Tonight, he had to make that sick glove save on the kill.
Nasty.
With Sean Monahan unleashing one in the slot. That thing had eyes for the back of the net. Most goaltenders are not saving that. And Georgiev did one of those, you have to get down in the splits for your momentum type thing on these glove saves. You'll see goaltenders make these elite glove saves when it's them and their opponent, and we're talking, 10 to 20 feet between them, and it's one-on-one, and Georgiev snags that thing with his glove. When it's all said and done, Alexander Georgiev had about 5-ish elite saves in this series. Hellebuck had maybe 1 elite save. On the, the positional fundamentally sound type saves, Hellebuck made those. Hellebuck made all those, but when they needed Connor Hellebuck to make a big boy bail you out save, I think he had 1 in this series. Georgiev had about 5. How about that?
That's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryanemi. We are live from Stoney's, thanks to our friends at Milagro Tequila, the Altitude Radio Network broadcast from the Backus and Shanker studios. If you've been injured in a serious car accident, you'll want to hire a law firm with winning results. That is Backus and Shanker. Their passion is justice. We'll keep breaking down this series on the other side. It's Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Pinch by Morrissey. Nathan McKinnon emerges. McKinnon up top for Taves. He lets it go. Tipped. Score! The Moose, for the first time in this series, is loose. Mikko Rantanen, the deflection in front, and that is how you respond. McKinnon, he's going to take it with him around Nino Niederreiter. McKinnon 2-on-1 with Mikko Rantanen. McKinnon holding over for Rantanen. He scores! Talk to me, Moose! Mikko has 2, and the Avalanche have a 2-goal lead. They have put 5 goals on the Winnipeg Jets in every single game this series.
Mikko Rantanen, aser Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen, aser Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen, aser Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen, aser Mikko Rantanen.
Mikko shows up. Mark Springer, 2 goals in a clinching game. 9 points in a 5-game series. Avs move on. They'll take on the winner of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points for Mikko Rantanen. Cale Makar has 9 points. Nathan McKinnon picks up an extra 2 points to complete his 9-point series as well. As the Avs dispose of the Jets in 5 games. We are live from Stoney's Lincoln, 1111 Lincoln Street here in Denver. Thanks to our friends at Milagro Tequila. Avalanche Hockey on the Altitude Radio Network is brought to you by Mountain High Appliance. Visit the Clearance Center for new discounted or scratched appliances up to 60% off. It's mountainhighappliance.com. Spring, you've now donned some Milagro sunglasses because I feel as though your foresight is blinding with Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, I need to cool myself off because I'm on fire with my predictions.
Sexiness.
Yeah, you're damn right, Andy.
We weren't on fire with our bets. We had to chase those tonight.
Also, all the lights are off here at Stoney, so me with these sunglasses off, it's even darker for me in here, but I love it. Let's go. Yeah, if anyone wants to send their apology letters to me for bashing on Connor Hellebuck for the past few weeks, you are welcome to do so. Please send those my way, and I will kindly accept your apologies. Thank you. Leave a voicemail. I'm busy right now. How about Yakov Trenin? How about playoff Yakov Trenin?
Is your dark horse?
He was my sleeper coming into the series because he has, I think it's 6 playoff goals in his career. 4 came against Colorado in that first-round series 2 years ago when they won this. When the Avs went on to win the Stanley Cup and they swept the Nashville Predators in the first round, Yakov, I think it was 4 goals that he scored in that series, and then he had 2 goals in the bubble playoffs. So 6 career playoff goals, and then the last time Trenin was in the playoffs was in 2022 for that Nashville Avs series, who hasn't been back since. And here he is back in the playoffs, and I knew it was just a matter of time until playoff Trenin scored, and he got the Avs a 2-1 lead early in the second period.
It's a solid goal, and Trenin, obviously Johnny on the spot there. It starts with a phenomenal forecheck from Brandon Duhaime, right? Zach Parise goes off the ice. He has to get evaluated for a concussion. He's on the bench while his line mates, or his typical line mates, are out there. Again, Parise having moved up in the lineup with the absence of Jonathan Drouin. And Drouin apparently did tell a French reporter that he's hoping to be back late in the second round, if not for the start of the third round. So you can expect the Avs to be without Jonathan Drouin when they take on the Dallas Stars or the Vegas Golden Knights next series. So, again, expect Zach Parise to be a top 6 or a middle 6 player for this team in round 2. His normal line mates are out there. Yakov Trenin and Brandon Duhaime. If the Avs were completely healthy, that's who his 2 guys would be. The Brandon Duhaime check, that massive body check on the forecheck on Dylan Sandberg creates everything for that second goal. And if you can get that type of production from your third and fourth lines, this Avs team is going to be really tough to beat.
Correction, 3 goals for Trenton in that series, but he did have the 2 the season before that. So now it's 6 career playoff goals for Yakov Trenin. Had 5 in 10 playoff games. He had 5 goals in 10 playoff games. That's a heck of a clip for a player like that coming into this series. He now has 6 goals in 15 career playoff games.
So let's remove names like Makar, Rantanen, McKinnon, Lehkonen, Nichushkin, and Middlestat. All right, let's remove all of those names from the score sheet. You get 5 points in 5 games from Josh Manson. 2 goals and 3 assists. He gets the empty netter to make it 6-3 this evening. You get 3 points from Ross Colton. 3 points from Andrew Cogliano, 2 points from Miles Wood and Zach Parise each, including both of those guys scoring 2 goals in this series. You get a goal in 3 games from Joel Kiviranta, who may very well have been the best non-top 6 forward on the ice in games 2 and 3 before he had to come out for games 4 and 5 with Nikolai Grigorenko coming in. You get a goal from Yakov Trenin, right? Like, you get solid positive minutes. I thought Kovalenko was a little bit behind pace today, but he was better in game 4. The depth on this team is so wildly different from what it was last year against Seattle.
Did you mention Casey Middlestat there?
No, I took Middlestat out of the equation.
And what a revelation he's been, but no surprise.
That's how good he's been. I have to take him out the equation.
Sure. You know, I mean, for me, man, this was a team most of the regular season that I thought was really carried by Nathan McKinnon. And here we are in these playoffs, and Nate's been very good. He's looked every bit when he skates, when he touches the puck, like Nathan McKinnon. He hasn't quite gotten loose yet, but I think that's just because he hasn't had to. I'm talking about those dangerous Nathan McKinnon skates. I mean, look at the hat trick he had against the Wild, where all 3 of his goals were, he's out of the offensive zone.
I'm faster than you. I'm better than you.
Yeah, and then he's, it's all outside of the offensive zone, then burst of speed and head of steam into the offensive zone. We haven't really seen that from him in this series, but they haven't needed that because everybody around him has played so well. Conversely, Mikko Rantanen, whereas McKinnon had the 2 goals coming into tonight, Rantanen had 0. And even though Mac only had 2 goals, and I say only 2 goals, it's Nathan McKinnon we're talking about. Like, there's another universe where he scores 6 in the series.
He had the pull-up snapshot pull-up snapshot 5-hole, and then he had the one-timer on the power play. Those are the 2 goals they had in the series, one of which 100% should have been saved by Hellebuck.
You're talking about the 5-hole one?
Yes.
Sure.
Gotta have that one.
But Nate, he's looked great. I have no qualms with Nate. Mikko Rantanen, on the other hand, he needed a game like this. He needed to have a game like this. And it comes at the perfect time. 1, it's a closeout game. And 2, along with that, he can take this into round 2. He needed to feel the back of the net. And not in an empty net variety. Even strength, hell, even on the power play. And he gets 2 even strength goals today. And, to me, it's the second one. It's the 2-on-1 with Nathan McKinnon. That's your bread and
that felt like Mikko.
Yeah, that's what you need right there.
You are right. The first one was a tip, right? Like, anyone can get into good position and tip a puck home, right? Like, if you get a knee on it, a stick on it, a shaft on it, it can redirect enough to beat any goaltender in the world, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 12-year-old or Patrick Waugh. If you get a redirection on a puck and the goalie doesn't know what direction it's going, it can beat anyone. For him to get up in that play on a quick up from Cale Makar to Nathan McKinnon, that's the bread and butter. Like, that's literally, if you were to draw on a napkin, if you sat down at a bar and drew what the Avalanche are about, like if you sat down with Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic and they had a couple of Coors Lights or Kokanees and they said, hey, listen, I want to build a hockey team around 3 players. This is what we're going to do. The puck's going to go to Cale Makar. He's going to zip it to the fastest player on planet Earth, and then he's going to be able to go on a 2-on-1, and if he decides to give the puck up, it's going to be to a 50-goal score. That's the napkin. That's the elevator pitch for the Colorado Avalanche, right? That is the goal that you create this team around. It matters how you score that goal, right? It matters how you get back into the mix. I think you're 100% right there. Altitude Hockey, or Avalanche Hockey rather, on the Altitude Radio Network is brought to you by Mountain High Appliance. Again, visit the Clearance Center for new discounted or scratched appliances up to 60% off. It's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryan Emmy. You guys can watch us on twitch.tv/AltitudeSR on the Safeway Twitch stream. Join us, 303-504-0925 on the Champ Mazda text line. We'll go through the rest of the NHL scoreboard. We'll get you some bets on the other side. Avs win 4-1 in a 5-game series over the Jets. It's Altitude Sports Radio. Steve Nelson back at the Backus and Shanker Studios. Alex Ryanemi alongside the radio machine Mark Springer, and a late-night version of Jesse Trujillo hanging out with us, an engineer and the whole thing. Salute to you, my friend. We are live at Stoney's off of Lincoln, thanks to Milagro Tequila, wrapping things up on a late-night version of Between the Pipes. Avs move on from the first round. They get a first-round victory for the first time since they won a Stanley Cup championship back in 2022. They'll get the winners of the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll get into some Bet the Pipes. We'll tell you what we think is our best matchup for the Avs in just a couple of minutes here. Final thoughts on this game. Final thoughts on the series as a whole. We got depth scoring. The Top Guns didn't have to be stellar, and now you get some days off.
Yeah, this played out exactly how it should have played out. I don't care what regular season the Winnipeg Jets just had. I don't care what regular season the Avalanche just had. The key is punch your ticket, get in the playoffs. That's all I care about, okay? And so you look at the Avs, you look at the Jets. Here's what you do. Here's your little trick for anything. Now, this isn't an end-all, be-all. This isn't a catch-all. This isn't going to prove to be true 100% of the time. Just fantasy draft these two teams. Fantasy draft these two teams. And it's clear who the better team is. The Avalanche are a better team on paper than the Winnipeg Jets. And
that is that's a fun little experiment to do. If you were to let's do it right now. You get first pick. Who's the first pick?
Nathan McKinnon.
I'll take Cale Makar.
Yep. Third pick. People are going to think I'm biased when I say this. Valeri Nichushkin.
You can say that. I would have taken Mikko. I want a guy who can score 55. So I'll take Rantanen with the fourth pick. Now you have number 5.
Okay, now is this where Hellebuck comes off the board?
Either Hellebuck comes off the board here, or does Scheifele come off the board? Big-bodied centerman. This is where the first Winnipeg Jet can actually come off the board. But we're not talking about Arturi Lehkonen. We're not talking about Casey Middlestat. We're not talking about Devon Taves. We're not talking about any of those players. I think you can make the argument for Lehkonen, for Taves, over any of those guys.
For me, it would be Kyle Connor, actually. I am a Kyle Connor guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go Kyle Connor.
So it takes 6 picks for you to take a Jet.
Mm-hmm. And then when you start getting to the depth guys, I mean, that's where, Tyler Toffoli, who's bounced around the league and has been on a million teams at this point.
I mean, I'd take Tyler Toffoli in my bottom 6. But the issue with the Jets is that he's a top 6 forward.
And he got demoted tonight to their bottom 6, and he does end up scoring a goal. I mean, Toffoli only plays 12-23 tonight. You know, Cole Perfetti. That was an adjustment for them tonight, to go to the young kid, former first-round pick. Hasn't played in this series. I'm actually surprised that he didn't start this series, that he wasn't a factor for the Jets this season. He, to me, was the type of player where it's like, man, first-round pick, had been getting some run. If he, like his contributions, his growth, his development, to me, would have directly correlated with the Jets' success, much like you're seeing with the Wyatt Johnston for the Dallas Stars. That's why the next series for the Avs, on paper, now we're actually talking about a more even matchup. The Jets, to me, were smoke and mirrors all season long. Sometimes some teams are just able to whip off more regular season wins than they should have. Some sort of a snowball effect happens where they get hot and they just can't stop losing in the or can't stop winning in the regular season for some reason. To me, that was Winnipeg this season. Now with Vegas and Dallas, whoever it's going to be in the next round, now we're talking about a legit big boy matchup between whoever it is coming out of that series and the Avalanche.
There's some issues going forward, too, with Winnipeg. Like, do not count them out for a little bit of a dip next season. Scheifele gets a $2.5 million raise next season. He goes from $6.125 million to $8.5 million all the way through the 2031 season. 2031. He'll be 38 years old by the time that $8.5 million contract is up. You know who else? You know who else gets a big pay increase next year from basically the same thing? Connor Hellebuck moves from $6.16 million to $8.5 million, and that thing runs through the year 2031, when Connor Hellebuck will be 37 years old. While he is a phenomenal goaltender and has been in the regular season, he has not been able to show up in prime time. UFAs this year: Brendan Dillon, Dylan DeMello, two of their top 4 defensemen. A guy who they added this year on the trade deadline, Sean Monahan, UFA. Tyler Toffoli, top 6 player for them, UFA. If you're looking for futures for a team to drop out of the playoff race next year in the Central, look no farther than the Winnipeg Jets.
Dude, it's a great bet. It's a great bet that Winnipeg misses the playoffs next year. And there are some teams who are on the outside looking in, and here's one that comes to mind, and next year might be too soon for them, but Connor Bedard's going to be a problem with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, yeah, dude, that guy. When that guy figures out the league, it's going to be an issue.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be them, but the Seattle Kraken, the Avs' first-round opponent last season.
Need a new coach.
Firing Hackstall. So they were in the playoffs last year. They did not make it this year. The Winnipeg Jets, they have that same DNA in them. You can see the fingerprints all over it.
All right, Spring, around the NHL tonight we had another game right before the Avs. It was the Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We also had the Nashville Predators and the Vancouver Canucks and the Carolina Hurricanes and the Islanders. All of these games could have been series enders. The Predators beat Vancouver in Vancouver to extend the series to a 6th game. It is now 3-2 Vancouver. Nashville comes back in this game and holds off the Canucks.
Weird. What a weird past couple of games.
It's a bizarre series.
From Nashville being up 3-1 late in the third period a couple days ago to giving up 2 goals when Vancouver pulled their goaltender, who I've never heard of before, by the way. Can't even remember this kid's name. And Brock Besser scores the second one with 5 seconds to go, and then they win, boom, super quick in overtime. And now this game tonight, or this series, goes back to Vancouver, and Nashville wins in Vancouver. That's backwards bizarro world.
Nikita Zadorov scored on a gorgeous short side shot 3 minutes and 11 seconds into the third period. Roman Josi scores on the power play 5 minutes after that to tie it. And then with 7.5 minutes to go, Alexandre Carrier scores his first of the postseason. Nashville holds on 2-1 to win that one. We will see a Game 6 in Nashville in 2 days' time. Carolina is the other team alongside the Avalanche in 2 6-3 games this evening, including 2 games with empty net goals. Carolina disposes of the Islanders. They do it at home in 5 games. This was a mismatch from the start. It took a double overtime game and the Islanders to win that one, to extend it past a 4-game sweep. Carolina was head and shoulders the better team. They look good enough. I just don't know if they can get past the Rangers.
No, and it's going to be a hell of a series, though. It's going to be a hell of a series. Shout out to the fighting Patty Waz, getting one game in there, making it respectable. But yeah, I mean, Carolina's the better team on paper than the Islanders, and now, that's going to be a great matchup. Those are a couple teams that a lot of people are picking to win the Cup, while nobody was picking the Avs to win the Cup inexplicably. I don't know how to call. I know you've got the Rangers in the finals.
I've got the Avs and Rangers in the final. I have a 7-game series. I picked this before the final week of the regular season was up, when I was feeling very, very down on Alexander Georgiev. I had the Avs losing to the Rangers in 7 games in the final.
But this Carolina-New York game, Carolina, from what I could tell, and you look at the odds, Carolina out of the Eastern Conference is getting the best odds ever so slightly, at least as of recently. And a lot of people were picking Carolina nationally, but New York is extremely formidable. So, that's a popcorn series. I'm glad that's in the Eastern Conference, and I can just sit back and enjoy that one.
All right, final game of the night, and this may have been the most surprising final of the night. There were a couple of surprising ones in the NBA, like Milwaukee wins without Damian Lillard and Giannis, and, the Knicks blow a 6-point lead with under 60 seconds to go against the 76ers, much to our shared chagrin. The Toronto Maple Leafs, without Austin Matthews, who scored 69 damn goals this season.
Nice.
They win.
Nice.
On the road in Boston, down 3-1. The Maple Leafs, who are built to lose and started Joseph Woll in net tonight, they win a 2-1 hockey game in overtime?
This is sometimes kind of like with, what happened in this Nashville-Vancouver series where, both teams win games they shouldn't have won on the road. And I guess tonight, Toronto winning a game that they really shouldn't have won on the road. This is where sports are weird. The playoffs especially can get really weird, and things can happen that you don't quite see coming. Like seeing Austin Matthews is out tonight, and this game is in Boston with the Bruins having a chance to end this series. And that's the game Toronto wins on the road. That's the one they win on the road. Look, isn't it a great bet that Toronto's going to lose at home in Game 6? That's the Leafs' way. Win this one. Get everyone's hope up. Was this the Dennis system? They're on I. Inspire hope.
And then lose 5-1 in Toronto.
And then the Leafs will separate entirely from their fans.
Matty Knees scores the overtime goal, rather. Young 21-year-old Matty Knees, originally of Phoenix, played his youth hockey for the Junior Coyotes system, played college hockey at the University of Minnesota before being a second-round draft pick for those Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 games tomorrow, Spring. Let's get some bets before we get out of here and send everyone off to bed. Vegas at Dallas. Vegas on the road, plus 135 is a really good number on this game. I love this for a series that has not had a team at home win a single game. Let's keep going with the trend. Give me Vegas on the road, having lost 2 games in a row, plus 135 on the money line. I love the value.
I think that this happened with Stars Wild postseason series from a year or two ago where the road teams won the first 4 games. I don't know if it was last year. I'm looking at it now. But this is a very Dallas Stars thing to happen. So now the Stars are home favorites like they were in the first 2 games. But now
Similar numbers, too.
But now they have the momentum having won the 2 road games after dropping the first 2 at home. So I do think a lot of people are going to bet Dallas tomorrow night.
Dallas opened at 170 in their first 2 games in this series.
Mm-hmm. So down a little bit, but I think that, their recency bias. They just won 2 in Vegas. I'm kind of with you, man. I think this could just be a stupid, dumb road teams keep winning. It's a great matchup. I love this matchup between the Knights and the Stars, not just because they're going to beat the hell out of each other before one of them plays the Avs, and to me, these are the 2 best teams besides the Avs remaining. It's not just that. I like both these teams. They're fun to watch, actually. Take my bias aside, they're fun to watch. I'll go with Vegas and the value in the road team.
There we go. I love it when we're in lockstep, although we were in lockstep tonight with our parlays, and those didn't quite hit. All right, that's going to do it for us for Stoney's on Lincoln for our friends at Milagro Tequila, the brighter side of tequila. He's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryan-Emmy. Steve Nelson back at the Backer and Shanker Studios. I love and appreciate you, my friend.
How you like that one?
Gotta love it. Winnipeg Dave. Didn't hear from you tonight, but I felt you in my soul for Jesse Trujillo and Dixon and Carlos and Sean and Kevin Shockey. Cast of thousands here who are hanging out with us at Stoney's. This has been Between the Pipes presented by Safeway. Do yourself a favor. Set your alarm. Get up at, 7:30 tomorrow. Have a shower. Get a coffee. But turn on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 at 8 a.m. You won't want to miss it. The head coach of your Colorado Avalanche joins Mosier, Lombardi, and Kane. Avs dispose of the Jets in 5 games. They await the winner of Dallas and Vegas. We'll talk to you soon on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.